we have a special treat for you tonight. I met Susan Polgar just a month ago in Budapest, where she's from. She told me that she's coming to Atlanta. I said we have to do something in Atlanta for the Atlanta chess community. It's growing so much. Everyone's so bought in, so excited. And Susan is on her book tour for a book that came out earlier this year. You might have heard of it. It's called Rebel Queen. It is available over here. You can get a signed copy from Susan right after this if you'd like to. And it details her life through a memoir. So you can learn more about the legendary Polgar sisters, the father that brought them up to be chess prodigies, chess icons and legends, and learn more about the Cold War, all the misogyny that happens in chess, that these incredible women navigate it. And we're going to get to have a little bit of a discussion and a Q&A about a lot of that. But first, a little bit of a highlight reel. 4-time world champion, the first person, male or female in history, to win the Triple Crown. So 3 different categories, world champion in all. And then just so many Olympiad accolades to even start to list. But we can get into all of that. And if you aren't familiar, my name is Matt Thomas, head of United Chess Boxing, heading up all of Team USA's activities in the chess boxing world, and was at the Global Chess Festival to do a chess boxing demonstration and to play an assignment. So that's where we initially connected, and we'll start out kind of fun. Do you have any kind of combat experience? Have you ever tried boxing or maybe a similar version of boxing?
Yeah, so first of all, good evening everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here in Atlanta. I haven't been in town in probably over a decade, so it's really nice to see how vibrant the chess community is here. Indeed, it's really nice to be here, Matt. And to answer your question, I actually used to do kickboxing a long time ago, the year you were born.
I was born in 1990. not to date or age anyone here. But what you're telling me is, so you're telling me there's a chance. We already have the chess side for sure. We have almost 3 decades since you've done a little combat sport experience. Is there a chance someday you enter chess boxing?
Chance,
There's
yes.
a chance. Okay, we'll take that.
You never know. I find a good teacher.
Okay, perfect. I love it. So for people that might not be as familiar with you, with the Polgar family, let's go all the way back to the beginning. So you have this legendary figure as a father that is now very well known in the chess world, but at the time, maybe not so much. Do you want to take us back to maybe him, his philosophy, and how he raised you guys?
Yeah. So basically, I was, even before I was, he already had his theory that any healthy born child can be a potential genius, a potential high achiever. And obviously before he even met my mother, he had these theories. And once he met my mother, or his future wife, initially they were corresponding about education and about his theories. So long story short, fast forward, they got married and they set it out to prove my father's theory in practice. So I was the first child, and
a lot of expectations on the oldest child.
Yeah.
I'm an oldest child too. I feel some of that, but it seems like a completely different level in your family, where they're setting out to prove this theory true.
Yeah. So basically, they didn't know what the subject should be. Should it be mathematics? Should it be science? Should it be music? What should it be? And then one day, shortly prior to my 4th birthday, I accidentally found the chess pieces. And that basically, became my fate.
The rest is history.
The rest is history, yeah. So I asked my mother, what are these? She says, oh, these are chess pieces, but I don't know how to play. You have to wait until that comes home. So he came home, and then the following day, he actually, little by little, he introduced me to the game. So that's how it all got started. And years later, my sisters were born. Judith is born and 7 years younger than me. And by the time she actually started playing chess, I was already a master player. And so I was her first teachers and taught her and Sophia and my other sister thousands of hours to improve our games.
Incredible. There's someone I really look up to, who's a world-renowned interviewer and had a section in Esquire for years called A Conversation With. His name is Cal Fussman. And he had the opportunity to interview Gorbachev. And he said that the question that broke open the interview was, what is the most treasured lesson that your father taught you? And that stuck in my head as something to ask someone someday. And you seem like the perfect person to ask that because you have such an interesting father. So does anything come to mind when I ask you that question of what is maybe the best or the most treasured lesson that your father taught you?
There are certainly many, but if I just have to pick one, I would say believe in hard work. Believe that there will be fruits of hard work. To be patient and to persevere. You'll get there. And just like in life, chess as well, the success wasn't overnight. Like, yes, of course I had smaller successes at kiddie level and so on, but ultimately to become a grandmaster, it was a long journey. It took me over 15 years. So it required a lot of patience and a lot of belief that the results will come. If you're dedicated, a passion for what you're doing, eventually, it's only a matter of time when, it's not if. So that whole mindset, if there is one thing I need to point out, is to believe in the process, in the hard work, and to be patient.
Such an important lesson. It's great. And I love the yin and yang there. There's this belief part that seems very like qualitative and up in the air. You know, it's not something that logically, rationally you can nail down on what belief is. But hard work is certainly. So believing in the benefit of hard work seems like this beautiful union.
Exactly. It's a right balance. It's like to believe in the right thing to do, right? So, yeah, some people may seem more talented, one say, than others. But what I really noticed from experience over the years, also as a chess teacher later, an educator myself, that the young players who are more dedicated, more diligent, usually come further than the ones who are talented, who often rely on their talent too much and are not as diligent.
The age-old tale. We rely on talent, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly.
Very true. So I'd like to stay on your childhood for a little bit. I didn't realize the age difference between you and Judith. I'm also the oldest, and my closest in age is 8 years younger. So I know from experience it can be a little tougher to build a close relationship with such a younger sibling earlier in life because they're still developing, not much of their own personality yet, and that kind of thing. When would you say that you and Judith or your youngest sibling Sophia, when do you think you really started to click and feel like sisters?
I think we were very, very close for a long time, obviously. Initially, obviously, I was like almost like a second mother, like a babysitter for them. But basically, chess really brought us together, a common interest, and at one point in 1988, which was a historic year in our family, that our family, the three sisters, consisted, the Hungarian national team consisted of three sisters. So it was something crazy, something that doesn't happen, right?
Polgars against the world.
Exactly, and not just that we played, which has happened before, that three sisters played in the country to represent the country, but we beat the Grand Soviet Union and everybody else. We became Olympic champions. So that was huge. And from then on, we got many invitations. They named us jokingly the Polgaria.
Bulgaria, like a
There is
country.
Bulgaria, there is Romania, we are from that region of the world. And
Forget Hungary. This is Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, right. And then, I mean, I didn't invent it, but the media did.
I like that.
So when basically the Polgar sisters representing Hungary won the Olympics, it kind of became a thing. And then we challenged actually a number of countries for the top players of different countries, men, not just women. And we beat several of them, like the national team, for example, and some others. So, you know, we have a very, very close bond also for the fact that we were all homeschooled. So unlike typical family, when kids go to school, okay, they come home, maybe spend a couple hours together at night, dinner. Unlike that, we were really together pretty much 24/7 because we were homeschooled.
And were there little fights over the bathroom, or you took my outfit, or like normal sister stuff, or was this all just battles on the chessboard? Or?
We actually got along very well because, especially me and little smaller than my sisters, our family at large, we had to face so many adversities, so many difficulties, so many challenges, discrimination, that we had to develop this we against the world, us against the world mentality, that we had enough people to fight outside the family, and it was really important to unite as a family, to be able to succeed and to overcome the challenges.
So let's talk about some of those challenges. So the chess world, predominantly men. We have split titles between open division and women. You came up at a time where it was even more pronounced than it is today. You want to talk a little bit about what it was like coming up as a young girl in the chess world and what kind of obstacles were in your way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, even today it's quite male dominant, but it's nothing compared to what it used to be. So back in the days, most tournaments I was literally the only girl, the only woman. And at first they were laughing, like, how do you dare even to want to play against men? Women should play just against women. Women are not escapable. Women, should stay in the kitchen, and that kind of mentality.
When that was said to you, what would happen in your mind? Like, I'm going to prove them wrong,
Exactly.
or maybe they're right, or was
Yeah.
there any self-doubt, like maybe I shouldn't be here, or was it just like dry?
I was very fortunate that my parents were very supportive, and they engraved in me that yes, girls are just as capable as boys.
Amazing.
And it kind of became, the mantra of my life, to prove all those naysayers wrong. Like when I was a little girl, I was told countless times that a girl, a woman, cannot be a grandmaster. It's just out of reach. It's like you want to go to the moon. It's impossible. And even women believe in that. It's really crazy, today. And I'm very proud that I was able to overcome these obstacles. For example, when the first time I qualified to the World Championship cycle, the men's World Championship cycle, I was not allowed to compete because I was a woman, and they didn't know women are not allowed to compete. So that's why it was so satisfying when finally I broke the gender barrier and became a grandmaster among men, based on norms and ratings like the men have to accomplish.
Objective.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter gender, doesn't matter last name, doesn't matter anything.
Yeah, there were two other women, Nona Gapindashvili and Maya Chipotanidze, received the title before me, but they haven't done all the requirements as you're supposed to. So because they female world champion, they said, we'll overlook a little things missing, a few games.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah, few ratings, yes.
So they didn't satisfy all the
No,
requirements.
so they got awarded a title.
And those are the only two ahead
Yes,
of you.
correct.
Interesting.
But I was the first one who earned the title.
Every qualification.
Oh, man.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of that. That's my biggest accomplishment.
Yeah,
Despite all the Olympic golds and the World Championship titles. But if I have to pick one, that's my most proudest accomplishment.
Breaking a ceiling that shouldn't have been
Exactly. Paving the road to my sister and Pia Crumley and others who came after me becoming grandmaster.
Amazing. Such an accomplishment. Yeah, we can give it up for that. It's a big deal. So, are there any moments that come to mind where this felt maybe more intense or vibrant or real? This man's world that you were trying to break into and disrupt. I know that there are very misogynistic statements from big figures like Bobby Fischer and Gary Kasparov. I know you've had interactions with them. Is there anything that comes to mind from your career of something that maybe is along those lines of you felt like you didn't belong, but you made sure they knew that?
Well, the one I mentioned already, right? When I qualified for the World Championship, and they didn't let me play. But there were countless, from... I'll tell you a funny story when one of my first experiences, right? So it was a chess club in Budapest, and there were many chess clubs in Budapest. But this is a famous chess club. We're talking 1973. And my father, for the first time, brings me to the chess club. The chess club is full of men. In those days, they could still smoke, so half the people were smoking. And there we come, little girl, just turned 4. And my father, for the first time, is taking me outside of the house to play somebody other than him. And everybody is asking the people to finish a game, would you give my little daughter a game? And they look at him laughing, that, are you kidding us? She's a little girl, let her play with dolls, what's she doing here? If you want to get a game, we'll play you, but don't use your little daughter if you want to get a game. So he kept insisting, no, it's she who would like to play. And so anyway, they were laughing. Finally, one guy said, okay, and probably they were tired already, him asking everybody, I play her a game. So that was funny that finally he gave me a game, and I managed to win one of the games. It's a big circle like here, standing around us playing. And they were making so much fun of the poor guy who lost to me, Like, how will you go home to your wife tonight? After losing to a little girl. That was the environment back, you're talking about over 50 years ago, that when a man would lose a game to a woman or to a little girl or even more so, it was like the end of the world. People here couldn't hear the end of it.
Go ahead and castrate you right there.
Very much, So that was the environment. So we came a long way from there, and it's I guess partly because I got them used to it.
Yeah.
We lose the first time, it's the end of the world, but it happens the thousandth time, and by now dozens or hundreds of other women, it's not such a big disappointment, and it's more accepted.
Absolutely. So let's fast forward a little bit. You're in Olympiads. You're earning world championship titles. You've already navigated this gender obstacle, but there's a global obstacle. There's the Cold War, and it's something you talk about in your book. What was it like coming up in that kind of era? Being from Eastern Europe, playing such an international game with people from all over the world. What was it like in chess, where the proxy war was basically on a board?
Well, it was a very different world, obviously. We were during the Cold War. Everything was very restricted, right? There was even a phase where I had to get a fight with the Hungarian Chess Federation, purely because of our belief, my family's belief, that women are just as capable as men. And the Hungarian American Chess Federation leadership at the time thought that girls should only play with other girls, women, and I shouldn't be playing against men. And because I refused to play all the tournaments, they said, okay, you cannot travel to the West, and they held my passport. So it was a very different time.
Their own daughter, someone that could go bring their country honor.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
they're restricted.
Yeah. So it was very different. So when I first time I came to the US, 1985, it was, it was so different, like day and night, the colors and choices in everything. It was just so different. Back in those days, Eastern Europe was very gray. It was. The chess culture was great partly because of all the restrictions on so many other things, right? We didn't have all the fashion like it was in the past. We didn't have all the choices of movies or many things.
Distractions.
Yeah. So chess was actually one of the things that people really enjoyed and enjoyed it just as well as people anywhere in the world. Because it's a very accessible game, it's inexpensive, it doesn't particularly matter if you play with plastic pieces or wooden pieces or pieces out of gold, it's still the same game. And so that was kind of one of the positives, I would say, of growing up in Budapest, that chess was very much treasured, very much respected, very much recognized. The then Prime Minister of the country, János Kádár, was a big chess fan himself, the number one person in the country, big chess fan, and therefore the chess community enjoyed, bigger support than it would otherwise. And in general, in the Soviet bloc countries, chess was very respected, Like if you're a chess champion, a chess grandmaster, you're at a very high social status, like a doctor or like an engineer. It's more than that. It was like really very prestigious. Yeah, that's right.
So you named your book Rebel Queen, and I want to get into why you chose that title, why it resonates with you, or represents what you wanted to talk about in the book. So why Rebel Queen?
Well, some of the things we touched on already is that when I was told time over time that girls are not equal to men, girls cannot accomplish as much as men, and I did not accept it. I was a rebel, right? I went against the status quo. I went against what the government, the communist government told me I had to do, or the Chess Federation told me I had to do. So somehow, all the time, I had to become a rebel. As a child, I didn't know that's what I'm going to do. But when I felt that there is discrimination, there is unfairness, I thought I have to stand up for myself as well as actually for women who come after me. Hence the title of my book, Rebel Queen.
Which is a beautiful title. I think it's very fitting. And another thing I love about your story is how you have, since your success, given back. You started a foundation. You were in your sister's corner and her second for such a long time, and she went through her career. Can you talk a little bit about why you could have just kind of disappeared and enjoyed your life? Why the coaching? Why the foundation? Why pouring into your sister? Why that part of you or your life?
Well, teaching my sisters was natural. We were a very, very close family. And then when I came to America, I started my chess center in New York City that ran when I was living there for 13 years. And after that, actually I'm still while in New York. I founded in 2002 the Susan Polgar Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And the way that came about was actually along the line of the are so few girls in chess. Back in 2002, the then executive director of the U.S. Chess Federation reached out to me and told me that they have less than 1% of the membership of the U.S. Chess Federation. And he asked me that, can you help? You're the only living world champion in America. Your name, maybe you can help. So that's when he encouraged me and helped me fund the foundation to bring more girls to the game, both as a grassroots movement as well as to get to new heights. And it's actually amazing that back in those days there were very few strong female players in America. The few who were, they were immigrants from the former Soviet Union. And today, through my foundations, events, and activities, a whole generation of young talents grew up. And today's best players, from the Jennifer Yu, the Alice Lee, the Carrie Sayib, all the top female players today, they were all 6, 7, 8-year-old little girls coming to my foundation's events and year after year and grew up and became strong and got encouraged and learned through our camps as well. And I'm very proud of the foundation's activities. We have awarded over $7 million in scholarships and prizes thanks to our partners and donors. And we're looking forward to continue for many more years to come. And
7 million and counting. You can make a donation to the foundation tonight. You can get a signed book. If you have a question, go ahead and think of one. I'm going to check on time wherever. If Seth is here, are we close to the tournament? 8:52. 8:52. Okay, so let's take 2 questions. Meeting right up into the tournament here. If you have a question, go ahead and think of it now. But tonight we are doing Rebel Queen. You get a signed copy. If you get 2, you also get a signed picture. And there's a little discount on the price of the 2. So instead of $40 for each, it'll be $75 for both with a signed picture. And you can make a donation. But does anyone have a question for Susan?
Going based,
Yeah, nice and loud. I'll repeat.
based on your experience in the chess world, if you had to give some advice to organizations like FIDE and St. Louis Chess Club and so forth, how to improve chess for everybody, including women, what would be the advice that you give?
Everyone hear the question?
Well, that's a tough question. They are doing a wonderful job, the St. Louis Chess Club, I have to say. They have really put chess on the map, They are the chess capital of America for a reason. The Sinfeld family really put in incredible resources. Brought the U.S. championship, men, women, seniors, juniors, girls, boys, everybody, So they are really doing a fantastic job, and I know that they have amazing incentive for women also, which I'm very happy for. I think every American girl, woman who becomes a grandmaster receives $100,000 bonus. So that's nice. So that they could up that a bit even more, to have, let's say, $1 million. Somebody becomes, say, 2,700. So I think that would be an even better incentive, to have more women and for women to believe in themselves and to become not just a top woman player, but a world-class player overall. So that's one idea. But there are really many ways to help them.
Great question. Thank you. We'll take one more. Go ahead.
Do you plan on having a big practice here in Atlanta? Does the foundation plan on having a presence here?
The question is, do you plan on having a presence in Atlanta, coming back and visiting us again, maybe some foundation events?
Possibly. We need partners, obviously, because logistics requires the knowledge of the local chess scene. Potentially, yes. Yeah, I mean, my foundation actually has done numerous events. We have 3-4 major events that we do for over 2 decades now. We have the Spice Cup, which is about to take place in the Seattle area with our partners over there, the Washington State Chess Federation. We have the Susan Polgar Foundation Girls and Boys National Open, which is there. The Spice Cup is there for the first time. And we used to have a big event called the Susan Polgar Foundation World Open Championship for boys and girls, which we have not run the last couple of years. But and then of course we have our flagship event, the Susan Polgar Foundation Girls Invitational, National Girls Invitational. So we're always looking for partners for one of these events. In fact, we're right now looking for a new home for the Girls Invitational. So potentially, that is a possibility.
Well, consider us partners. We're here to help however we can. I know Seth is doing big things in the chess scene. He'd be a great person to work with. And guys, thank you for your attention leading up to our Friday night tournament. Get you a gift card, get you a cash prize. But before you do, go ahead and pick up the book. You can get a signed copy, you can get a picture. If you feel called to donate to the foundation, you can do that too. There's a QR code right over there. Let's give a big round of applause for Susan Polgar.